Hello and welcome to this week's Geek Chat. Um, so just before we get into everything, I hope everyone's had a great week, and of course, I'm joined by Shadow, and
I
go on.
I don't think they can see us yet.
Can they not? Well, there is a bit of a delay. I know that. But there's no
Okay,
way.
we're live now. We can see it. Yeah, we'll see us now.
Awesome. Yeah, there is a bit of a delay. Um,
Yeah,
there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. So, there's a whole load of stuff that we want to talk about. My stuff is a lot of really small stuff that I want to talk about, just kind of mention in passing. Um, there is one, I guess maybe one of them that I could go in depth about, but I'll see how I feel, because I know we've got to have it within just this 1 hour. Um, so, I'm going to start with the book that I want to talk about, and that is The Shadow Glass by Josh Winning. And I make emphasis of the name of the author because that name of book is so popular. Like, if you just search Shadow of Glass, you don't automatically get this book. You get like so many other kinds of books with the same name or very close to the same name. Um, so it's a really popular name for a book. Um, and both me and Shadow have seen this cover and thought it was really, really cool. Um, I'm just gonna quickly get up the image that I seen on the author's Instagram because that kind of gave a overview of what to expect. Um, the thing that really drew me in was the VHS style cover to the book, which, if I'm honest, it doesn't look all that VHS tape like to me, but apparently it is. Um, it's 80s fantasy and horror, nerd heroes. I mean, we're both quite nerdy, so that completely fits. Um, Puppets, I'm kind of obsessed with. In particular, like the Jim Henson um, kind of ones. But it's interesting to me how that's going to work in a book. Um, Found families, which is kind of a common theme. Um, Even in was it the Shapeshifter that you were reading, which was to do with foxes, or a fox.
yeah,
Um,
yes, yeah. That book's about all the kids have all got different powers. One's a shapeshifter, one's like a telekinetic, one's
right,
a
that's
psychic,
definitely
things like that.
got some um found family elements in it. So like that's kind of where I'm drawing that from, and the reason why I'm drawing that connection is because it's this book also has foxes in it, um, as well as a creaky house and monsters and daddy issues. Which, I mean, if it's got a found family, those two kind of go hand in hand. Because if you don't really get on with your biological family, you find your real family elsewhere. So, like, all of that stuff, I really would like to read about. So, I'm definitely going to be picking that book up at some point. And I know when I um, sent the cover to you, you said, like, it sounded like a one that you would quite like to read. purely for the
Yeah.
Fox element.
Well, I said basically they've copied my name.
Well, yeah. Do you know what? I never even made that connection until right now. So yeah, that's
That's
kind
why I
of
said just for the benefit. I said I deserve royalties. And I don't know why you didn't get it until now, but by that I meant because they used my name, Shadow, and because there's a fox there too, and
yeah.
that's
It
why I said that.
completely went over my head that you saying that. So yeah, I just wanted to give that a quick mention because um, it's a book that I've been wanting to read purely because I think the cover is beautiful. I'd love to know who done the cover art for that book. And just all of the themes that it kind of has in it is all stuff that I really like. So it's like a must get for me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So that's it for my first thing. So you were gonna go on to talking about a movie that you've seen.
Yes. So yesterday I went in to see Sonic 2 at movie theater,
I
and
can't believe that they've got the second one out so quickly. Like when did the
I
first one come out?
actually no that's the thing. It's not really so quickly. It's actually quite late, um, because the first one came out. I'll just go check just now while we're talking, and I really should have preempted that question. Um, Sonic. It came out. Yeah, it came out in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so just before the pandemic, it came out, and the next one was meant to be out the next year, or I think they might have filmed it like back to back, kind of.
Mm.
Um, but because of the pandemic, things got pushed back and delayed, and so it was released in 2022. And uh, it's starting to. I'm going to try and get my. What I'm going to say, I'm going to try and keep spoiler free because I don't want to spoil it for you because I know you'll probably want to go see it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and but what I'm going to say is this will be something which I think I I'm not sure, but I think this will not be in a version anybody else will see, because they didn't see it yesterday. If you didn't see it yesterday, I don't think you're likely to see this joke. So, right at the very start of the movie, at the very beginning, you know the bit where it says, "And now time, enjoy the movie," blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and then you know how they get the screen up saying this film has been classified at a certain rating, blah blah
Mm.
blah, and then it starts. You know the indent for the movie studios start, and then the movie starts itself.
Mhm.
So it start, but the information that maybe like was only on for like a half a second, if that, and then it's just like a flash of the movie title, and then all of a sudden you could see parts of the movie. It was going like really fast, and then the credits rolled up, and then Sonic comes up and says, "I hope you enjoyed the movie in supersonic speed. See you later." And he said, "April Fools. Now enjoy the movie in proper speed."
That's kind of cool. And yeah, I see what you mean about they might not include that in future viewings, but
Yeah.
they would probably stick that on the Blu-ray. So I'm definitely going to be getting the first one and this one on Blu-ray at some point.
Yeah, so it was really so and I would say the movie was really good. It had some like totally surprising elements, and actual fact, um, how we know how there's going to be Tails and there's going to be um,
Knuckles.
Knuckles. Yeah, Tails
Yeah.
and Knuckles are going to be in the movie,
Yeah.
um, and Tails doesn't act, Knuckles appears first in the movie,
Mhm.
and then Tails doesn't appear until probably about a third of the way through.
Okay.
I would say
Well,
maybe.
without giving plot spoilers, it sounds to me like they're kind of mushing together elements from the second game and the third game. Because the third game is when Knuckles came into it, and the second game is when Tails came into it. Um,
Yeah.
and also with the movie posters, there was a one that I seen where they were trying to recreate the Sonic 2 Mega Drive slash Genesis game art with the movie poster, and it worked really, really well.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So you know the mission um in the movie. Telling what the mission is would be a spoiler or
um, I can take a guess, and you can just say yes or no.
all right, okay.
It's going to be something to do with the Chaos Emeralds because that's kind of a game element that's in most of the Sonic games, particularly
Well,
from yeah,
yes. They're correcting a particular type of emerald,
yeah.
or
I
trying to get it anyway.
kind of thought it would be that, yeah.
And obviously, um, Doctor Robotnik managed to get himself back. Obviously, as you probably can guess.
Mhm. Otherwise,
Well,
there'd
you
be
know
no
he's in it
movie.
exactly. So he does get himself back, and it's quite gross at the start of the movie
Ooh,
because he's
nice.
drink. He makes this drink out of mushrooms because he's
The middle
living
of
in the mushroom
nowhere,
planet.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, he's living in the mushroom planet where everything is mushrooms. And he sports a new look as well, so he's got a different mustache. It's a
Interesting.
bit
I
bigger mustache
I
than before.
wonder if they do plan on doing more, if they're gonna change his design in the same way that he went from being really, really thin to being really, really
Yeah,
big, or vice versa. Because
yeah.
in the first one, Sonic refers to him as Eggman, but he's not really big enough to be egg-like shape. You know what I mean?
hmm I think it's because he's the Eggman is the vehicle that he's in.
Ah, okay.
I don't.
Did not make that connection.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Um, and yet, there is definitely going to be a third one. I can guarantee you that,
Awesome.
just because of the end credit scene. Well, it's not so much an end credit scene; it's a mid credit scene.
Okay,
So
so
there's no end credit scene. There's a mid credit scene.
there's a mid-credit scene. Is there anything after that, or is it just the credits?
I think it's just the credits, and there's a bit in the credits where like how it says has a list of each like department and in the names of
Yeah.
section. There's one where I missed the start of it because I wasn't looking at the screen properly at that time, but there was easy upwards of 500, maybe 600 names.
Wow.
The names just kept going and going and going and going and going. It's like there was about there's about 200 or 300 names beginning with A. I know that for a fact. And then it kept going and going and going and going. I was like, what department is this? There were so many. I was thinking, is this the people who like maybe funded it? But I don't know. Like literally, there was about several thousand, I would say, in that list.
That's kind of impressive. I mean, given the
Yeah,
kind of movie that it is, it makes complete sense. But wow.
yeah. It's the longest list of a particular department of any movie I've ever seen.
I mean, I always sit through the credits regardless of whether there's an end credit scene or not, because
Yeah.
quite often the music that's being played I really like, and it's part of the movie experience. And the way I look at it is, it's like a decompression kind of moment that where you're just allowed to sit and just listen to the movie's soundtrack and like prepare yourself for the outside world, you know?
Yeah, I sometimes watch the credits and try and look out for my name, if my name's in the credits, like some random with my name, but I've never found one yet.
Well, if they do a fourth one of Sonic, they're gonna have to bring Shadow the Hedgehog in. So
I'm
then
not saying anything.
then your name's definitely gonna be in it. So
Yeah.
okay,
Don't you mean a third one?
no, I mean a fourth one because if they're doing it kind of each movie is roughly each game, then you
Right,
know.
all right. I'm not saying anything then.
Well, you kind of have because you're kind of implying that he's in this one. So
He's not in this one.
okay, but he's going to be in the third one then. Okay, fair enough. So yeah,
Yeah,
they
I didn't want to say that, but
you've kind of gave it away. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm still gonna watch it regardless.
all right. Since I've said it anyway, it's you get that hint from the end credits, the mid credit scene.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want
Oh,
to add about it?
oh,
Well,
yeah.
technical difficulties.
So my iPad just fell over. Um, and other tablets are available.
Yes,
Um,
quite.
yes. So yeah. So the movie in general. So there is some perils along the way, and there's a heavy use of the ring portals system in the movie.
Okay,
So they use the rings quite a lot to, well, a
that
lot more than the first movie, basically.
that was used very sparingly, and I don't think that's an element that existed prior to the movie. Because
No,
I know
so
it's all different worlds and stuff.
yeah, so in the first movie, obviously, he had to use a very limited amount because he would have ran out. He'd run out. But I think was it at the end of the movie they solved that problem that he has unlimited amount. I don't know. It appears he has unlimited amount now.
At at the end of the first one, do you mean?
Yeah, that he got unlimited amount of rings.
Do you know what? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Well, it appears that the issue in the first one where he was going to run out of rings isn't an issue now.
Right.
So I don't know.
Cool. Okay.
Um,
So should I go
and
on to my next thing or?
yeah, I was going to say a couple more things about it.
Okay, fair
As
enough. Carry on.
I'm trying to being really careful about what I say about it
Mm.
because I don't want to
I
give
know you
too
don't
much
want to give
spoilers.
spoilers. Mhm.
Yeah, but um, actually, that would be a big spoiler. I'm not going to say that um, about the big twist, but I'm not going to say it. Um, but um, all I'm going to say is this movie spans various continents, which is kind of cool.
Kind of expected that, to be honest. Not gonna lie.
So it's and um, there's a lot more um, action, I would say, in this one than the last one.
That does make sense, because I mean, the first one kind of sets the whole premise up. So then,
Yeah,
going into the second one, the movie knows that the audience has a basis of what this world is, and they can just get
yeah,
straight on with it. Yeah.
and yeah, and in the second one, this movie, second one is more about Sonic, Tails, and Shadow, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, as it is about the human characters and
Okay.
such.
So it
So
sounds
it's
like
more yeah, so there's more elements where it's just Sonic and Tails and stuff rather than Sonic and Tails with the humans.
cool. It sounds like the putting elements in from all of the different games over the years. Um,
Uh,
because what you've just said there made me think of Sonic Heroes, which I know is considered not to be that good of the game, but just with the whole working together as a three piece kind of thing. That's the whole point of what Sonic Heroes was. Um, yeah. Anyway,
well, yes, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like all I'm gonna say is that it's more about the character, the otherworldly characters as opposed to the human characters to an extent, because obviously we've still got Robotnik and stuff like that.
yeah,
But in terms of Tails and Sonic, they're like working together.
cool.
That's all I want to say.
Okay, should I go on to my next thing now?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I kind of mentioned it last week, but I'm going to mention it again because I've got more to say about it because I've watched the extras on the set that I have now, and it is the Night of the Living Dead. Um, this is freely available in public domain, and uh, when I was watching the extras on this Criterion set, which is in beautiful condition, whereas the public domain print is kind of in rough shape, but it's like perfectly watchable still. Um, they mention about how this movie ended up in the public domain. It was actually by mistake, because the original name of the movie, which I don't remember what they said it was, um, they put a copyright out on that name, um,
Ah,
and and then they changed it to Night of the Living Dead, and they forgot to uh, put the copyright onto that name instead of the now name that nobody knows the movie by. Um, and that's how it happened to get into the public domain. And I think it getting into the public domain definitely helped with its longevity for sure. I mean, it was done on next to no budget whatsoever. It was done in black and white because they couldn't afford to do it in colour. I mean,
mm-hmm,
he has done a remake of it since, the same director and everything, but the original is the one that the fans say is the best. I haven't seen the remake, um, but I would love to see his entire. I'm gonna say series because I'm not sure whether it's still a trilogy or whether he did a few more movies um, in this um, Night of the Living Dead series. Because I know he done Dawn of the Dead, which I have. Then there was Day of the Dead, which I don't have, and I'm sure there was at least one more, but I'm not sure whether they're official canon or what. Um, but yeah, like the Criterion set that I have of Night of the Living Dead, it has the movie in the best picture quality that's ever gonna look. It also has a alternate cut of the movie as an extra, um, which I think uses the original name of the movie, but it's only 16mm instead of um, I think it was 32mm that they ended up with um, for the actual shooting. Um,
mm-hmm.
I can't remember how they explained that when I was watching it. It was kind of confusing, but yeah, there's an alternate cut which is in a bit more rough shape. But I just love all of that stuff because it's like you're seeing a bit of history in filmmaking right there. And I just love all that stuff. So for me, it was great. Um, I don't know whether that would be for everybody's cup of tea, but I mean, me and you were both kind of geeky, um, and I guess
Yeah.
film history is one of my things. So, um, is there anything like that you're into, or is that just me?
I do like film history in terms of like filming locations and stuff like that. And
Cool.
um, so there's actually a place in Edinburgh that's been used for filming. Well, loads of places in Edinburgh that's been used for filming locations. Most recently, I would say would be Avengers Endgame
Oh, cool.
parts. So that was filmed in Edinburgh. Um, there was obviously Sunshine and Leaf was filmed in Edinburgh, and then there's areas which is actually inspires like Treasure Island. So the book Treasure Island,
Yeah,
um, that is um, the fishing village within Treasure Island. That is based on the fishing village called in Cramond.
I did not
So
know that.
that's
That
yeah.
is
So
awesome.
I've been to obviously Cramond a few times, and
I know that Dracula was inspired heavily by Whitby, but I didn't know that about Treasure Island. That's kind of cool.
yeah. So that's where that was from. So basically, so the fishing village in Treasure Island is Cramond.
Cool.
Um, So, but yeah, but I also like US filming locations and stuff like that, and like the deserts in California where things like Star Trek was filmed,
Mm.
um, and other movies and TV programs use the same desert as Star Trek did. Um,
One more thing that I want to add about this movie, um, the fact that the main hero of this movie is played by a black actor in um, 1968. For some reason, that seemed to blow their minds, and they thought that it was like some political stunt by the director. But in the commentary that I was watching when I did watch this, he was saying that wasn't even in his thought process. He just picked him because he was the best person for the job in the pool of actors that he had to pick from.
uh,
And that whole race side of things, people still make reference to now. And, like, that absolutely baffles me that it's thought of as being, like, a taboo that having a black actor is, like, frowned upon in a movie. Um, like, they're just the same as everybody else.
exactly, absolutely. It just comes from systemic racism,
Yeah.
nothing more, and it's just awful.
So that's kind of all I have to say about that. And um, the next thing that we were going to talk about, I think, was the movie that me and you have both seen.
Absolutely, yeah. Turning red.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
Turning Red, as you just said. Um, I watched it when I was visiting my other half. We just put it on one day, and it was predictable because it's Disney. but it was good.
I see. I didn't think it was predictable at all. It was quite surprising, and there was good elements to it. And in terms of equality, I thought it was really good in terms of equality and um, for the LGBTQ plus community. How did you feel about that?
I'm not sure about the LGBT community. What bit you're
I guess you didn't.
drawing from?
So the girls are gay. They're and also the boy Tyler is gay as well.
Okay, I did not pick up on that at all. Um, because
Um,
they are kind of swooning over boys, so I was
yeah,
putting
they're
that
bi
down to like the BTS fandom. I thought that's what that was kind of taking the mick of.
because it wasn't taking the mick of BTS. It was because it's set in the early 2000s. It was taking the mick of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Okay. Yeah, there
Um,
was an awful lot of like 90s references that.
I'm trying to get yeah. Yeah, and did you see their phones? It's like ridiculous, like
Yeah.
really old.
Um,
Um,
so like I thought it was like a 90s um themed movie from all that stuff, but yeah, we actually do get the year at the very end of the movie that it was supposed to be.
this 2000,
hmm
wasn't it?
I think it was 2002, but yeah, like that general time. Um, as for the turning into a red panda, I completely got that that was like a metaphor for a girl getting her first period, and I mean, whilst I've never had one, and I'm not grossed out by talking about those kind of things because I mean, shocker, I have a sister and
Yeah,
she has been very open about that kind of stuff with me.
uh,
So
uh,
having a movie that does that for other people, I'm like, yes, bring that on. Anything that
uh,
gets that kind of taboo ness away from talking about the periods and stuff related to it, I'm all for that.
yeah. And okay, I might disappear now because I've been trying to read a statement. But you'll still hear my voice.
Okay,
All right.
fair
So
enough.
you'll still hear my voice. Um. So um, the movie obviously going back to the LGBTQ plus representation in the
hmm
movie. Um. So the character Tyler was more of in the original cut was more obviously gay. Um, and Disney, mainly um, Bob Chapek, um, got told to tone it down, completely tone it down.
I mean, big
Um,
surprise that a
so this
company
comes after
does that,
this comes after um, just trying to, this comes after Bob Chapek um, donating money as part of the Walt Disney Company to the controversial "Don't Say Gay" bill. The sponsors the "Don't Say Gay" bill in Florida.
good lord.
Um, so um, so um, Pixar made a state. So Bob Chapek. So there's going to be a company wide walkout, like protest, and then
Right?
Bob Chapek made a statement surrounding the LGBT community, and then um, Pixar came came out with this after this. Obviously, it's got to do with Turning Red. But they came out after um, Bob Chapek made this statement to try and calm things down, and this is what they said: "We are writing because we are disappointed, afraid, and angry." So this is from Pixar themselves in
Right?
regards to Disney's. in regards to Disney's financial involvement with legislators behind the Don't Say Gay bill. We hoped that our company would show up for us, but it didn't. We at Pixar have personally witnessed beautiful stories full of diverse characters coming back from Disney's corporate reviews, shaved down to crumbs of what they once were. Nearly every moment of overtly gay affection is cut at Disney's behest, regardless of where is protest from both the creative teams and executive leadership at Pixar. Even if creating LGBTQIA plus content was the answer to fixing the discriminatory legislation in the world, we're being barred from creating it. Beyond the inspiring content that we aren't even allowed to create, we require action. And obviously, I said this falls along the line of this is now me saying this. This is not Pixar.
Okay.
This is following a long line of LGBT inclusion in Disney Pixar content. For example, Alberto and Luca's relationship in Luca to Disney's animated series Owl House.
Disney needs to realize they have a huge gay following, and I mean, the gay community really needs to either not support Disney
Oh,
whatsoever, or like something has to be done for them to correct this. Because now that you've said about Turning Red having a gay um, set of characters, and I didn't even pick up on any of them being gay.
yeah, but
Um,
Tyler's the most obvious one.
See, I didn't even pick up on that at all. So I kind of want to rewatch it to have that in the forefront of my mind to pick up
Yeah,
on things, but at the same time, I don't want to support the don't say gay thing, because I mean I'm gay myself, so
yeah. So remember, the movie was made by Pixar, so it's Pixar who's supporting the community.
yeah, but they're all always kind of in tandem with Disney now, and it's going to be very hard for them to separate.
Yeah. So, but that that is but in terms of the movie itself, we try and take a stake away from the political part of the movie. In terms of the movie itself, I thought it was really quite good in terms of for the Therian community as well,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about. I know it's about metaphor for puberty and stuff like that, and obviously, Mumsnet had a field day in this movie. That's a whole that could be a whole different conversation altogether
Yeah, let's not
about
even go
Mumsnet.
there.
Yeah, but um, I enjoy like for me as a Therian, um, it was really good, cool to see a character shape shifting into a into a red panda, but also about acceptance in the school as well. Because
Yeah,
you could like for a Therian, it could be an acceptance for being Therian. Everybody was wearing red panda tails around the school, um, which was like for me it sounds like for me if it was like all about being a Therian, it's about the whole school accepted their identity.
it also works with the furry fandom
Yeah,
being accepted instantly for that, which I thought was great. I mean, it works with both um, communities. Essentially,
yeah, and
any minority group could relate to that whole being
yeah,
instantly accepted kind of thing, you know?
yeah, and yeah, and for example, most people think furries are all about sexual deviance and all that sort of thing, and that's only a tiny, tiny part of that community.
Yeah, you don't have
The
to tell me
majority,
about it. I am one.
yeah, yeah, so am I. And oh, hashtag spoiler alert. 99.9% of furries are just cosplayers. Basically,
Mhm.
they create a character and they cosplay it.
Yeah, that's
And most
essentially it.
and most furries. can't even afford to have a fursuit or
Yep.
anything of the sort.
I have
Yeah,
like two
and
pieces of art of my persona, and that's it.
uh, I can see if I can get a picture of my persona.
Cool.
Uh, although I can't put the technology behind it and put it onto, but actually I could send it to you and you can put it on the thing, can you? Or do you have to set that up?
You could do that, but it would take quite a bit of time.
All right, it'll be quicker just to show it to you
Yeah.
guys on screen. Um, so let's have a look. My boy's name is Andras, Andras, and he's a dog. And I was gifted this persona. Um, so this is Andras. Where? There we go. Where's the camera? There it is. There's Andras.
Cool.
So that's my boy.
Very fitting that it's more dog-like than it is anthropomorphized. Um,
Yeah.
Mine is like a blue wolf, but I am thinking of making some changes uh, to incorporate some pig elements to mine.
Why don't you
So
just create a whole second persona?
I could, but I kind of like having one that expresses multiple elements of myself. You
All
know,
right, so I'm thinking of creating a second persona,
I
but
mean,
obviously
I'm I
I'm not an
might
artist.
I might
So
end up doing a second one, but it's getting an artist to do the art because I
yeah,
can't do it myself.
neither can I. And the thing is, I want to create a backstory for Andros,
Mm,
but because he was gifted to me by Talus, um, I don't know even though he's my boy now.
mm.
Talus created him, but he's my boy now. Um, I, I don't know if it's right that I create the backstory for him. I don't know how you would feel. What you feel about that?
If the character's being gifted to you, then all the creative stuff around him is yours. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I will create a backstory. Try and think of something about him stuff that is creative.
Is there anything else that you want to say about Turning Red?
I know we kind of digressed into talking about the furry fandom,
Yeah, we did.
but
So, is there anything else?
uh, what only that I think that Turning Red, although at the start of the movie I was struggling to get into it, um, uh, but towards the end I really got into it and I thought it was a really good movie. It didn't have the emotional element to it that a lot of Pixar movies has, like Luca has, like Encanto has, like Up or Coco have,
See,
but
I
uh,
think they tried to have the emotional element be between the mother of our main character and her mum because when she was first going through the whole red panda
uh,
thing, she hurt her mum, and we seen how violent the red panda is for her, so she couldn't handle it.
where her daughter's is very her red panda's quite loving and
Yeah,
friendly.
so I think that was supposed to be the big
Yeah,
emotional hook of the whole thing. Um,
and
as I said,
the other part could be when she was trying to do the ceremony and her red panda looked back at her with teary eyes, and that's
maybe,
when she decided not to do
but
it.
I think that was supposed to be the big emotional
Yeah,
hook. And like I said when we first started talking about this, I seen that coming a mile away. Like, to me, that was predictable. Um, like that could be though because I've kind of studied film, so I know the kind of tropes to look out for. Um, and
Hmm.
yeah, this was kind of full of the whole misunderstanding and being sad for like 20 minutes, and then it all gets resolved. I will say the um, way that it was resolved, I wasn't expecting. Um, but I definitely agree with what you were saying about it being hard to get into at the beginning, and then towards the
But
end, it was
but
like much better.
a lot can be said though and applauded about this movie. How the main protagonist in the movie was female, as
Yeah,
opposed to it's usually male, which is quite a good thing. I would think.
yeah, and you know
Need
what?
more movies like that.
It didn't even enter my head that I was watching a movie with a female main character. I kind of
Yeah,
didn't care. I was just like,
I didn't care. Yeah, for me, I don't didn't care either. But obviously, I need to think it needs to be acknowledged though
oh
that
yeah, definitely, because like you said, normally it's a male dominated role, which is so stupid. Like it
yeah,
really shouldn't be.
like yeah, I would love to see if there was like a non-binary character,
That
but
would be
then
awesome.
but I don't think that would ever happen with
Yeah,
Disney. But you never know.
I
You
would
never
be
know.
all over that. I really would. Um, yes. So should we go on to the next thing?
I think that was everything we are going to talk about, wasn't it?
I've got some more stuff that I could talk about. Um, so um, yesterday I found out that a movie company, well, movie distribution company called Severin, they are gonna put out a second box set of Christopher Lee movies, um,
Okay, yeah,
which I'm sure you know who he is,
yeah. I
even
know
if you haven't
who he
seen
is.
many of his movies. Obviously, I'm all over him because of the Dracula movies that he's done, and well, just all of his horror stuff in general. But he
Well,
was
I've probably
also,
seen him. Lord of the Rings, wasn't he?
yep, he was in Lord of the
He's,
Rings, and he was in Star Wars as well.
yeah.
Even though it was the prequels, but hey, I mean, he definitely was a big highlight of those for me, just because I really like him as an actor. Um, so I do have the first box set that Severin put out of these movies, and these movies, uh, the box set is called the Eurocrypt of Christopher Lee. So they're all movies that he done in Europe. So some of them um, are all in Spanish. Some of them are um, ooh, I don't remember what other languages, and it doesn't say on the box. But um, there is one or two where it's not natively in English, so you do end up having to read the subtitles. But um, they are considered rare movies, and um, they kind of restore them, and you get a whole load of extras talking about them and kind of where they fit in the whole movie um, history kind of thing, which I really like. Um, and actually, I'm gonna be going on to watching the Sherlock Holmes movie that was in this set, which he did a fair few, I know, but this one is Sherlock Holmes and the Deadly Necklace, which I've never seen before, and I can't
All
wait
right,
to
okay.
check it out. Um, but I'm going to be doing that after we're done here. Um, but anyway, they're putting out a second box set, presumably because this one did so well. um, and I'm just like, I can't wait to get it. It's available on pre-order now, um, and like I only found out that it was on pre-order yesterday, so it was April Fest when I found out about it. So
Okay.
I kind of didn't believe that it was actually real. So I checked the website to see if it was still up there, and sure enough, it's still there. Um, it is quite an expensive set though. Um, I think it was about um $120 if I remember rightly. Um, but I mean, you really get what you pay for with this stuff because it's a kind of a boutique label and you're paying for the restoration of these movies. Um, you also are kind of paying for like the way that it's presented. I mean, you got a nice hard box there, and it's like you get a whole load of the movies in individual keep cases. Plus, you get a huge booklet, kind of giving essays about each of them, which is really cool. Not that I've actually read them yet, but I mean, I've had this set for coming up to about a year, I think, and I've still
Uh huh.
not watched every single movie in it. Um, but like, if you really like Christopher Lee, I would highly recommend picking them up. Um, One thing I will say though is uh, you might have to get a region-free Blu-ray player in order to watch it. Um,
Okay.
I'm not sure what region they've been coded as. Um, this one is saying A, B, and C, so it would play in any of them, but that's no guarantee with the other ones in the sets. Um, it's kind of weird like that. I don't really know why. When it's been distributed as a box set. Um, but anyway, it's just how it is sometimes. Get a region
Okay.
free player and then you've never got to worry about that stuff ever again. Kind of why I got my mum and
Cool.
dad one, even though they are quite expensive for what they
Yeah,
are.
my I've got a 4K one, but it's also region free as well.
Sweet. And I'm assuming the 4K one also does Blu-ray and DVDs.
Yes, it does.
Cool. Mine does 3D Blu-ray. Not that I have a 3D telly hooked up to it, so it's kind of redundant. Um, but yeah, anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say about that set. Um, one more thing that I could talk about before we like sign off. Um, I've been playing a lot of Clone Hero. If you watched my past broadcasts, which of course gets muted because it's you're essentially tapping the buttons along to the actual music. So like
Uh huh.
um, doing like an Iron Maiden song, for instance, um, that's gonna get muted. You falling over again?
Yeah, I'm
um,
drunk. Apparently.
yeah. So like I can't get away from it being muted. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Because it's a video playback. When it's live, it's fine. You can hear it, no problem. So you're best watching those bits live. Um, and I've only just got my wireless guitar controller set up because I've got this, which was a USB to PlayStation 2 controller thing, which only cost
Hmm.
me like £5. And then I've just found the kind of receiver for the wireless controller. Um, so that's going to make things a lot easier for my live stream. just because the wire kind of got in the way a bit. Um, but I'm really looking forward to um, kind of playing the songs that I've got. And the best thing with Clone Hero, because it's a fun game, you can literally add any song you want as long as it's been created. I don't know how to create the fretboards myself, otherwise I would. Um, but yeah, it's really cool that it's kind of prolonged the life of the Guitar Hero and Band Hero thing. Because when was the last time we got a official Band Hero or Guitar Hero game? I mean, I know they kind of flooded the market, and we're now kind of stuck with these controllers that we've got no way of playing them unless we play just the original games over and over or do this fan game, which is essentially what Clone Hero is. Um, and I'm all for that, so I fully support Clone Hero. Um, yeah, so, and best thing for me with Clone Hero is it has a tap only option, so you don't have to strum with the notes. So like when you're hitting, let's say you're hitting the green note over and over, you don't have to then strum as well for it to count. And on a disability standpoint, that makes things a lot easier. So I'm all
Yeah,
for
which
that.
is good
Yeah.
as a plus then.
So I mean, I know that's kind of two relatively short things that have nothing in common with each other, but we've definitely filled the time up. So
Absolutely.
anyway, um yeah, so that's everything for this week. Um and are we doing it next week?
Yes, we will. We should, depending on how I feel, because I'm getting surgery on Wednesday.
Okay,
So I'll let you know.
let me know closer to the time, but yes, we will be doing it next week, and we will see you next week. And of course,
And I hope you had a really good time.
every week, man, every week.
That's my thing.